Hey, Stacy, thanks for being here today.
Hey Emily, it's good to see ya.
Yeah, so I have with me today Stacy from Offgrid with Doug and Stacy, and they've been living off grid in Missouri for the last 10 years or so. And the last 5 or so years of that, they've been recording their daily experience and what they go through. So, from building a log cabin and a root cellar and taking care of the animals and the land and everything. And they have this great YouTube channel, Off Grid with Doug and Stacy, that you can check out and see all their videos about their daily life. And they share that with us so we can learn things. So the great thing is, and Stacy, you could tell me a little bit more if I forgot anything, but what I love about what you guys do is that you're already living the life that everyone wishes we knew more about right now. So
Right now, it's perfect. I know we feel really, really, really blessed that we know. And see, basically what it was a journey. 10 years ago, I knew nothing. We grew up in the city and we knew nothing about anything. And I kind of wanted to know how people took care of themselves, hundreds of years ago before, medicines and how they cooked traditionally. And so
right.
I think we've lost a lot of that, and our grandparents and great-grandparents have not been teaching the younger generations this. And it's kind of like a lost thing. And so I really wanted to get into that so I could, educate myself. So it's
Right.
been really a cool journey of me learning how to do a lot of these older remedies that you can use just from things you get from your yard or just in nature, or you can grow yourselves, and just educating myself on how to cook from scratch and all that. So it's been great. And I feel really, that saying knowledge is power. It really is, because I feel very, very powerful right now, especially in what's going on right now.
Right. So you're not feeling the panic level that a lot of people are feeling because you're already set up for exactly this scenario that we're experiencing right now on the planet. So
Right. Yeah. We just finished root cellar, so we have a lot of our food. Our foods are down there, and it's just been one of those things where every year we just get better and better. So it has been a process and a journey, and things are looking good right now for us.
yeah, that's interesting because I was thinking about I remember there was some houses on the street I grew up on that had root cellars. There were a couple that had them in the basement, and they were this strange thing that what did anybody do with them? And there was like one or two people that actually used them, but now they're not building them into houses anymore. It's not even something that maybe some people don't even know what a root cellar is. Can you tell us what that is and why you've taken some time to build one?
Well, ours is a little different than the old time ones, because they
Right.
would use them and they put them down, usually kind of by the side of the house, and you could walk down the steps and they're in the earth. And basically, when you store foods, if you're going to do potatoes, or if you're going to do turnips, or a lot of your root vegetables, or your canned food, it keeps it a constant temperature because it's under the ground.
Right.
Generally, with a root cellar, you have a dirt floor because you need a little bit of that humidity in there instead of having it like a big concrete block. So, that's the kind they had. We have a little bit more. Doug and I say that we're living the pioneer lifestyle in the 21st century.
Right.
So ours is a little bit more state of the art. They call it insulated concrete foam, or ICF. A lot of people are building houses out of them because they're very energy efficient. So basically it was kind of like styrofoam, like you get a styrofoam cooler and they put it together kind of like Legos.
Yeah.
And they put the rebar in it, and then they go ahead and pour cement in there, concrete in there. And then it makes this big kind of root cellar underneath the ground. And so we have a dirt floor, and we put rocks on the bottom of it. And then that way we have this room, we have the steps going down. We actually have a building over it, which we're going to call it like our workshop. And it's been wonderful. So it's a way for us to keep our goods. Like I still have a lot of my acorn squash and a lot of my butternut squash from last season that are still there. And I have apples too. So, and a lot of the food that we haven't eaten, and it's been great. I love it. It's like just a great big walk-in refrigerator for me. It keeps it very constant, even in the hot summer months. So for us, we don't have air conditioning. So in summertime, it's nice. You can go down there and get cooled off real quick and come back up.
Yeah. Yeah. I hadn't thought about that it's, even in the summertime, it doesn't heat up. So it's a constant temperature, which is great without having to use electricity or anything. It's just the earth taking care of us.
Oh, everything. So if I need to cool things, so if it's sort of like my refrigerator. So if I need to keep anything cool, everything just goes down there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So we might not be digging our root cellars anytime soon here,
but
but there are some things we can do, right? So I wanted to have you on here because you have so many amazing things that you just do every day. Your routine from what you eat for breakfast to when you know, like getting all of your things done every day, the chores around the farm, and everything that you do has a purpose and is something that maybe we can take some of those things into our daily life. Now, we're not all going to go out live in Missouri in the, we can't all do that. We have to, we are in the 21st century, but we can take parts of that. Everyone can take a part of that and bring it into their home. And right now we're kind of seeing where the benefit of that, really seeing the benefit of that.
Oh, sure. And that's the thing, like we're totally the extreme, but anybody, if you live in a condominium, in an apartment or anything, I mean, anybody could do these things that you could help, with your health. And then just start, and if you're not sure, what the recipes are or different things, just get a notebook and start, start with that and then kind of go from there. And then that way you can start adding to your little home, medicine chest or ideas that you can do to kind of keep your body healthy. Because here, I talk a lot about living holistically, and I talk about kind of like if you look at a pie and you take the pieces out of the pie, just eating a great diet is not going to do everything that you need to have you be totally healthy.
Right.
So you need a little bit of everything. And so that's kind of like what we noticed from when we moved out here to when we lived in the city. We were going day in and day out, busy, and you thought you were doing okay. But then like when we started moving out here, a lot of health issues that you were having just over the months kind of just went away.
Right.
You're sleeping better, you have more energy, you think clear. I mean, it's just amazing just what doing a few things that you think is nothing can really help you with your health and your immune system.
So what are some of those things? What are some simple things people can start with? Like what would be the one? I know we're going to talk about more, but what's the first thing? What's the number one thing?
The number one thing that I would tell anybody, and I say it all the time and people are like, yeah. But it's like a cascading effect if you don't get it, is sleep.
Oh yeah.
And sleep is, it's crucial because, when you're sleeping, people stay up, you have sleep-wake cycles that go like 4 different sleep-wake cycles. So if you're not getting that, and let's say you're going to bed at 2:00 in the morning, you're going to be cutting into the sleep-wake cycle that possibly like between like 10 and 1 o'clock in the morning, that's when your body's repairing itself physically. And then, between, 1 and 2 to 6 o'clock, that's when it does it mentally. So you're going to mess up those repair times. So it's really important that you're getting your sleep because it affects your cortisol levels. Let's say people have the most immaculate diet and they're exercising and they're doing all these wonderful things for the body, but they're not getting the proper amount of sleep. Right. And their body could be storing fat. A lot of people get the muffin tops around and they're wondering, I'm doing everything right. Why am I not losing weight? And it could be because, their cortisol levels are spiked and it's not working for them. Or a lot of people who work like the, late shift.
Right. Or the tech work. Yeah.
A lot of people have health issues because of that. But my big thing is if you can get to bed by 10:30, 11 o'clock and get your good sleep and start doing it. Because the thing is you're used to being on the computer, you have the lights in your face and all that. If you are going to be on the computer before bed, just make sure an hour before you do go to bed, I would turn it off and then dim the lights a little bit because you want to get your body into that zone. So like for Doug and I, we live off grid and we live with oil lanterns and candles. So when the sun goes down, we have a very subtle light in here. So, not knowing anything when we moved here 10 years ago about a lot of that stuff, I just started noticing we were sleeping better. Yeah. We would kind of get more relaxed as the sun went down. And in the morning, you start to get up when the sun starts to come up and we were feeling more rested. I mean, it was crazy how that worked. So just from, my research and things, that I do a lot of reading here and try to learn, you find out that the sleep can do so much by healing you, helping you to lose weight, giving you more energy, making your immune system strong. Because when you don't get sleep, everybody usually gets sick because your immune system is low. So sleep is very important. So that would be the big piece in the puzzle right there. Try to start working on that and being consistent because a lot of people will say, oh, I'll try to get some sleep, and they'll sleep, maybe do it for a couple of days and then they don't do it again. So if you're consistent with it, just like you get up and you have to go to work or you have to get up, and a lot of people with everything going on now may not be going to work. So this is a good time to start with your health, going to bed at a reasonable hour, and maybe fitting in the time on the computer, maybe at different times of the day or something.
Yeah,
So
I think it's with people staying home and not going to work and kids not going to school. I think the natural tendency for a lot of people is to get out of routine because, I don't have to set an alarm. I could stay up as late as I want to. It's not going to matter. And also all the different things that are going through people's heads right now, all the uncertainty and things where there's the mind racing, I think is a big thing for people in general already, but especially right now where people can't turn their mind off at night. And so they may want to sleep, but they don't, really have the same schedule, and they're not able to once they finally get their pet on the pillow. They may not fall asleep right away. So do you have some tips for helping people to get into that schedule or that routine? It sounds like what I'm hearing from you is routine is important, to have those times.
Kind of go back a little bit. I work in Montessori schools, and then the newsletter that we just got out, because school's out right now, but it was the consistency, because, when the kids come in and they go to school, you have a different routine.
Yeah.
So just for us, we need to stay in our same routine. So if you're not working right now, stay in your same routine and know, from 8 to 9, I'm going to do this. And from 9 to 10, I'm going to do this. And give yourself a schedule, because if you don't, it really can mess things up, or sleeping in too long. Because it's good to get out and get the sunlight in your eyes, because that will activate the serotonin in the brain that will help you sleep better later on that night. So a lot of people who sleep till 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, that's going to mess with everything, going on in hormones. Yeah. So for us, getting up in time, getting outside, letting the sunlight kind of get into your eyes, that will activate it. Try to do that before 9 o'clock in the morning. And being active throughout the day is very important. You don't want to be sitting around, because your body basically shuts down. When you're sitting for an hour or so, and then you get up and you're like, your joints kind of
creaky at first to get up.
Yeah, just get up and kind of move around a little bit and activate the lymph system and kind of move a little bit. And then if you're going to sit down, go ahead and sit down. But try not to be, as lazy and sit around and watch, binge on Netflix or something like that. As the sun goes down at night, then you're going to kind of start slowing down. And I highly recommend drinking herbal teas. And this COVID-19, it can't survive in temperatures above 80.6 degrees.
Okay.
So that's why
our body, though. Our body's higher than that. So how can it survive inside of our bodies?
Even on your hand, you'll die within like 10 minutes. Okay. But that's why washing your hands, you can, get it off.
I see. Okay.
But with it's just so important that, like, at night we drink teas. So great herbal teas that'll help relax the body. So chamomile is wonderful. Passion flower is wonderful. Catnip is wonderful. Lemon balm is wonderful. All those are wonderful teas.
Valerian, if you can stand it, right? Valerian.
Some people, Valerian. I'm not a great advocate for valerian. I mean, it's okay for certain people, but a lot of these things I grow here. So you grow lemon balm very easily in a pot. You can grow chamomile in a pot. You can grow all those things. Catnip. I mean, they go crazy and they're great, and they'll help to relax the body. And it's a warm tea, so this attacks the COVID-19 attacks the respiratory system. Right. So just through drinking it, it'll warm the body. So you're giving it an environment that it won't, be as happy to be in.
Even green tea is very good for your immune system. If you can't get all those other things, just even drinking a green tea is more available sometimes than some of these other things we're talking about. So
peppermint tea. Yeah, peppermint. I mean, there's so many different types of tea that you can buy. You go to Walmart or Target, any of those places, you can find all those teas.
Sure. Yeah.
They're easy to find. So any of those, so just drinking some tea. You just don't want to drink a tea that has caffeine at night.
Right.
Because just like a lot of people, if you're going to drink a black tea or some coffee in the morning, especially like, coffee that has higher caffeine. So think about caffeine, it has like a half-life. So let's say you drank and it had 100 milligrams of caffeine in the morning. By 3 o'clock, you still might have 50 milligrams or so in you. So if you're drinking coffee at 6 o'clock at night, and people are like, I can't sleep. Well, I had coffee at 4 or 5 o'clock, in the afternoon. Right. And that's probably affecting your sleep too. So look at the caffeine intake. You don't want to be drinking any iced tea because it's made with black tea generally. Right. So don't do any caffeinated things for sure. Because you want to make the sleep is important. Like over the years, Doug and I, it's like we have to have our whole environment. Everything has to just be perfect, for the sleep. And you want your temperature to be a little cooler. And then here's the other thing a lot of people have. They have their cell phones right by their bed.
Right.
They have their lights on. They have all this electromagnetic,
Mm-hmm.
frequencies and waves all around them. So that's going to affect you, your brain.
Yeah.
So you're not going to get that good deep sleep. So I would highly recommend you want to have your bedroom very sleep conducive. So I would not have any cell phone by the bed, get it out of the room. You have any plugs, I would keep them unplugged too. And you'll notice you're going to be sleeping so much sounder and so much better.
I'm guilty of having my phone next to my bed because it's my alarm clock. But I have gotten in the habit recently of turning it off. Like I turn off Wi-Fi and I turn off mobile data. So if an emergency call needs to come in, I can still get the emergency call, but I'm not getting all of the dings and the bings and all the noises throughout the night. And I sleep better when I just turn those things off.
Right. Especially the Wi-Fi in your room. If you have, and I would get any TV or computer out of the bedroom and put it in another room. So you don't have any of that stuff. Your room is meant for sleeping.
I think every light. Yeah, getting every light off, even the tiny little, there'll be like the little LED light, blue or red or whatever. That's a tiny little light can make a difference. So I've even sometimes will cover it up with electrical tape if it's something I can't unplug. Like the humidifier sometimes has a glow to it. So making sure you have as much light off as possible, even a little bit can make a difference in your sleep.
Like a bear in a cave. You want it as dark as you can.
Yeah, exactly.
So then you go to sleep at your good hour, try to go between 10 and 11, and if you're a person who stays up really late, maybe cut it back by half an hour and just keep doing that consistently. But you got to be consistent because unfortunately as Americans, we want it quick. We want a faster quick. It's going to take time for your body to kind of reset itself. And you'll start noticing that, like I said, you're losing weight, your immune system's stronger, you're not getting sick like you used to get sick all the time. Yes. And it's just crazy what something little like that can do.
Yeah, I have to agree. Like that's my number one thing too, is when someone tells me how they're, that they're having an issue with whatever the issue is, I say, how is your sleep? That's the first question I ask, because usually if they can get that under control, these other things start to get better on their own. And you may not even have to go to anything other than just get some good sleep. That's the key for everything. Yeah.
We're big sleep people here, so I'm trying to get to sleep. So that would be my number one thing I would definitely say. Work on the sleep.
Yeah. So what are some other things that people can do? So the sleep also, I think we've said this, but I'm going to say it one more time just to be clear, is going to help keep your immune system running, right? So you're going to have that time to repair as you sleep. Your body needs that time to repair in the nighttime. So you're going to be less likely to either contract the virus, or it'll be easier for your body to fight off anything that does come in. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So
because you want to think of yourself sort of like a superhero, you want to have that protective, barrier around you so that things will just bounce right off of you. So you want to do all these things to help your immune system. So everything that we're doing, the big pie, the pieces in the pie are just going to help protect our immune system to help us be stronger so that those things will just bounce off us like we're Superman.
Yeah. So one thing you mentioned briefly was the lymphatic system and movement. And so what people may not understand about the lymphatic system that I'm remembering back from my anatomy and physiology class is that our heart pumps blood through our body, right? And the heart keeps things going. It just, if you don't have to move at all, the heart is going to pump the blood through your body. But the lymphatic system doesn't have a muscle like that to keep it moving. So we're that muscle. Our entire body is that muscle. So we have to move to make that work so that we can have that fluid passing through the lymphatic system that cleans out anything that comes in. We don't want to get stuck in the lymph nodes. We want it to move on through. So what are some things people can do at home when we're, stuck in our homes or in our neighborhoods? We don't want to go, nobody wants to go anywhere. So we want to keep active. How can we do that in our situation right now?
Well, basically your lymphatic system is sort of like the garbage man of your body, and it does act as a pump. So you need to do things, to get the pump going so that it will get rid of the toxins in our body. Yeah. We have a lot of lymph nodes on our arm, you have them in your neck, you have them in your groin, you have them everywhere. They're all over.
Yeah.
So probably everyone's thinking, oh, you have to exercise. I'm not going to go to exercise. We'll come back to that. But one thing that anybody can do, if you're in a wheelchair, if you're in a bed and you're homebound, I mean, anybody can do it. And I do it every morning. It's the first thing I do when I get up in the morning is to do dry skin brushing.
Okay, yeah.
And a natural bristle brush, there's different varieties. Some of them have a long wooden handle. Some of them have short wooden handle. And they have some natural bristles.
Yeah.
And basically, you're going to brush your body. It feels wonderful. So let's say you wake up in the morning and you just don't feel, you're like, oh, you kind of have a fuzzy head. The second you put that dry skin brush on your leg or your foot, it's like, whoa, it's like someone gave you a shot of espresso or something. It's amazing what it can do. So it's also help good at exfoliating the skin. It's getting rid of all the bad stuff. And then when you're done, you can rinse off, you don't necessarily even have to take a shower and you soak, just rinse yourself off.
Yeah.
But dry skin brushing is you're going to start brushing, and there's a lot of videos on YouTube. So I can't right now. I can kind of tell you kind of how to do it real quickly, but look it up on how to dry skin brush. It is very cheap. It's so easy, and it will do so much for the body because unfortunately in this day and age, everyone's lymphatic system is totally clogged up.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to cause diseases, cancers, and things like that because your lymphatic system is clogged up. So just by doing these things, and generally you want to start low, like at the feet, and you're going to start brushing up. So you're going to brush like a few repetitions each area, your shins, your calves, your knee, your back, your leg, up your thigh. I do one leg and then I'll do the other leg. And then you want to always brush towards the heart because your heart is pump, right?
Yes.
So you're going to go ahead and just keep brushing. You'll do the arm. Make sure you're getting underneath the arm all the way around. You're going to just do the whole entire body with the brush. And at the end, you're going to just feel incredible. It's wonderful. And it's just something you can add. Everyone gets up and brushes their teeth every day. This maybe only take, a minute or so or two.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take that much. And it does so much for your health.
I read about dry brushing. I bought a dry brush and I have never used the dry brush. So I know exactly where it is. After this video, I'm going to experiment with that. Yeah.
Oh, no, you should. It's just amazing. And the thing is once you've used it a few times, it's so easy to wash. You just can hand wash it and just hang it up. It dries very quickly. Yeah. Because I started at first, I had gotten a longer handle one. I got one that has a smaller handle that I like even better because I can manipulate it better.
Right.
And your husband or everyone loves to get dry skin brushed. It's wonderful. And sometimes if you can go get a massage, it'll do that to you. But it's something that you should add to your daily regimen. It's wonderful. Right. And if you forget a day, it's not, then do it the next day.
And that's something everyone can do with anybody. Yeah, anybody can do that. That's great.
And the other thing, for a lot of us, a lot of people have kids at home from school. I know a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I got to homeschool my kids now and help them with this going on.
Yeah.
I would highly recommend, if you guys don't have one, is to get a rebounder.
Oh, yeah.
For children, they have little handles that you can buy and you can hold on. They're very inexpensive and just bouncing.
So we're talking about like a mini trampoline here. So
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So for the kids, you can get them in kid sizes or you can get them an adult size if your kids are older. And then that way they can burn off a little extra energy. It's good for the lymphatic system and kids love it. And it's also good for adults. So for an adult, it's a very non-impact way of moving. Right. Anybody. I mean, people who have like joint problems or maybe they are very overweight and they don't like to move because it really bothers them. They do very well on a rebound or a mini trampoline. So they can hold on. Some of them handle, some of them don't. Right. And just by bouncing a little bit. And if you don't want to jump up high in the air, you don't have to.
And it's fun. It's one of those things you can kind of giggle as you're doing it, right? It's just, it's something you just can have fun with. And it feels like if you're not a kid, you can feel like a kid for a minute. It's just one of those fun things that just that movement makes you feel young again.
Oh, and it's fun. And then there the pump is working. You're going to get a great lymphatic workout. Yeah. And the thing that's awesome, if you're at home, you can be watching a movie while you're doing it. Right. You can listen to podcasts while you're doing it. You could, do so much, when you're talking to friends or whatever while you're on the rebounder. And then just because people are going to be home a lot and they're not going to know, what am I supposed to do? And this is something that you can add, and it doesn't really take a lot of room up, and then you can even store it really easy too. So
especially one without handles, you can just easily prop it up against the wall. It's not going to take up too much space. Yeah.
The rebounder. And then of course the last one would be getting some type of movement. And people are like, oh, I don't like to work out. I don't like to do this. I don't like to do this. my big thing in what's going on now is probably everyone really does need to get out in nature. You don't want to be cooped up in your home because you need that sunlight and you need that 3D. You need to see the horizon. You need to be outside in nature.
Right.
So going for walks, definitely going for walks. I would try to do it as much as I can, unless it's like pouring rain or something.
Yeah.
But, downer. And then on the days it's not, getting out and going for a walk is probably one of the best things anybody could do. And then if you're inside, I'm a big advocate of high intensity interval training. And it doesn't have to be where you're like doing big power jumping jacks or anything. It's something where you're going to get your heart rate up for a while. And then you're going to just let it come back down. So if you're at home and you have your kitchen table, your kitchen chairs, you can be sitting in your chair, standing up, sit back down, sitting up, sit back down. Do a few repetitions of those. Your heart rate may go up a little bit. And then just walk around. Maybe you're making breakfast, just kind of add in for kids are running around screaming or whatever they're doing. And then get back in the chair. And it's funny, you'll start doing some of these things and the kids will start doing them with you.
Right.
And that way you can get thoughts. You can do push-ups against the couch, the high back of the couch. You can do them against the wall.
Yeah.
Just as long as you're moving and getting something. And I've taught, I've been a personal trainer, I'm a holistic lifestyle coach, and I've taught group exercise classes for 35 years. And I find, people just, it is what you can do. If you're going to do something, then if you can give it a couple minutes and you can give it all you got and get your heart rate up, that's going to be awesome. The thing is we want to get our heart rate up. We want to breathe. We want to put oxygen into our lungs. And then we're talking about COVID-19, it attacks the respiratory system. So you don't want to be a shallow breather. We want to breathe.
Yeah, keep those lungs open and clear.
Right, and breathing. And so through exercise, when you're getting your heart rate up and you're taking nice full breaths in, that's going to help the lungs. What happens I work a lot with seniors, and as you age, you see a lot of seniors that you start breathing shallow. So you do a lot of neck breaths. So it's really important to breathe and take nice full breaths. So here's another thing we could add to our pie, besides your exercise and getting your sleep, is to work on your breath. And the breath will help. I know a lot of people are getting stressed out. I'm talking to so many young people that are very stressed out and nervous over what's going on. Yeah. So just to take like a breathing break once or twice a day, because what it'll do, this is a natural way to lower your blood pressure, to calm your nervous system. Because when you're in that fight or flight or sympathetic nervous system, that's your stress hormones are going and you're in that constant state. Then it affects renals and it causes wreaks havoc on your whole body, your immune system. So to take these breaks a couple times a day, you can do it in the morning, and then maybe do it before you go to bed at night, or maybe at lunchtime. Just say, I'm going to pick 2 times a day where I'm going to take 2 minutes and I'm going to just breathe. And on YouTube, you can find lots of they call them guided meditations. They'll say, sit down in a nice place and just, relax. And then they'll tell you how to breathe. And you can do that if you have access to a computer and, you want to do that. Just do guided meditations for stress or guided meditation for relaxation. You can say 5 minutes or 10 minutes and then just work on your breath. So if you're not exactly sure how to breathe or, what I'm doing, it'll kind of help you. And these things are amazing. What it can do, it'll, like I say, lower your blood pressure and you'll feel so much better. And it'll give you time just to get that downtime, because people are like, oh, I relax, I have downtime, but they're sitting in front of the television with their feet up when their mind
not quite the same, right? Yeah.
So you have to get that time where your brain has time to just kind of relax and recharge itself. And it's so important, and it will help with everything that's going on in your body. So that would be a huge, huge component that everyone should be doing. Because when you take those nice big belly breaths, so like when you breathe in, it's sort of like you're a balloon. Your belly should, fill up like a big balloon. And unfortunately, in this day and age, everyone's thinking about holding their stomach in. So a lot of people, they breathe wrong. So when you breathe in, you keep your belly sucked in. And really, when you inhale, the belly should go out like a balloon. And when you exhale, the belly should go in as you drive your belly button into your navel or into your backbone. So it's one of those things, just working on the breath. Or I'll give you one more and then we'll move on. But it's you can call it like a box breath. So think of a square. You would inhale through the nose for 4 counts. And you hold your breath 4 counts out of your mouth.
Exhale.
Oh, let me start over again.
Okay. I was waiting to exhale.
So you inhale 4 counts, hold your breath 4 counts, exhale 4 counts, and then hold your breath 4 counts. It's called box breathing. So if you did 3 or 4 sets of those, and then you did that a couple times a day, it would be amazing. So you
just focus on that for a couple of minutes. Yeah. You just automatically everything just kind of slows down a little bit and you feel like you can breathe. Sometimes we forget to breathe. And I think especially when we're panicked and things, we forget to take a deep breath. So if you can be purposeful about it a couple of times a day, that's going to go a long way in just your overall well-being.
Being mindful. It really is just to do that and take your breath and to breathe, because breathing will get you through very, very lots of uncomfortable situations, just like pregnant women, breathing will get you through, but breathing will get you through anything. If you're at the doctor having in 4, hold 4, breathe out 4, hold 4, in the nose and out the mouth. It's just amazing what it can do.
Yeah. Awesome.
That's my other one would be breathing.
So far we're sleeping, moving, and breathing. These are all good things.
Yes. And it's all about techniques and putting your priorities where they need to be, because I think a lot of people think that you have to have the magic pill to help you be healthy. And you have to have all these fancy things like, your watches that tell you about your heart rate and all this kind of stuff. You don't really. I mean, it's very simple if you're consistent. I always say consistency is the key. Consistent doing these things, you will notice major health things going on for the good in your body.
Right. Yeah. And just having, and these are all things that we can all do at home that I don't think we've mentioned anything. Maybe, what's that?
I said they're free.
And they're free and they're available to everyone because we all have lungs, and we all have bodies that we can move. So maybe some of the teas and things, maybe those you may not have, but I think my point here is that you do what you can and as much as you can. So we're giving out a lot of ideas here today. You don't have to do every single one of them, but you do the things you can do, and everything that you can do is going to make a difference for the good.
Oh, of course. And then the thing is when, like, a lot of people think I'm just going to do one and I'm going to be fine. When you add one and you layer another one and another one and another one, like I'm saying, you're becoming that superhero and you're getting your immune system's getting stronger and stronger. So try not just to do one, try to implement, a few of these and then kind of go from there. And then
that's a good point. I didn't think I'm the kind of person that I want to do everything I can possibly do, and other people might just pick one and then stick with that. But it really does help to do as much as you can in every area so that you're shoring up everything.
Right. Because think of yourself as a whole. When you look at integrative medicine and holistic type people, you don't want to just cut your arm off and then treat the arm. If I have something going on in my hand, you want to treat the whole body.
Yes.
So that's what we try to do here. And it's really helped our health. And it's just been a great thing for us. And then just through doing it consistently, so now it's part of our life, because it didn't used to be part of our life. I was just like everybody else, we would we'd get sick a couple times a year. Like Doug and I don't get sick anymore.
Right.
Our immune system's really strong. And I mean, it's just been amazing what just doing these couple things have done. And I haven't even talked about diet. You know what I mean?
Let's talk about diet. Let's talk about some foods that people can eat. I mean, I've been to the grocery store and I've seen the things that are missing off the shelves. Pasta's missing off the shelves. Every kind of meat except for beef, because maybe it's more expensive. So there's like beef and shrimp still available. But there's a lot of things just missing off the shelf that are not the first thing that I would choose necessarily. But what are some of the things that people could be storing up that they could have in their house? I mean, I don't want to tell people to go out and, hoard everything, but we should have a good supply of food all the time, of, just good, clean food. And how do people get that? How do they know what that is? And I'm going to just let you talk.
Well, the thing is, I mean, I kind of snicker when I go into the grocery stores, and I shouldn't be snickering, but I'm just saying it's kind of sad that you think the media would be talking more about this, the types of foods too. Right. A lot of people I'm seeing all the processed foods in the boxes. There's foods that aren't going to be healthful, the ramen noodles and all that stuff. Yeah. You go into the produce section, it's all there. All the things that
the produce section was fully stocked. There was everything.
I know, it's kind of sad, isn't it?
Salad and fruit and everything was there. Yeah.
Right, right. But the thing is what a lot of you guys could be doing. I'm going to talk about a few things that you can do that are amazing for the health. And they've been around for thousands of years, and they've been used all over the world for its like antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral properties for them to help with digestive problems and allergies and to help with just the whole immune system. So these things anybody can go and do. And I'm going to go through a few that are my favorites and that are just amazing what they can do. And number one is garlic. Garlic is great. Like I say, it's been around forever. I mean, it's like the master healer, and it is so good for you. And basically, 4 cloves of garlic is kind of equivalent to, it's not really like an antibiotic, but it's equivalent to what it does to your body. Right. So what I do, like for Doug and I, and when you eat it in its raw form, it is the most potent. So whenever you're going to heat anything, above, 100 degrees or so, generally after it gets to 118 degrees, you're really going to lose a lot of the good beneficial enzymes. So you don't want to heat it. But if you do, we heat a lot of garlic, it's still going to be good.
Yeah.
But if you eat it in its raw form, it's the best. So I always know my little number is 4 garlic cloves. So every day, Doug and I have a great big salad. Okay. We have a salad, and then I use the garlic press. I have my Pampered Chef garlic press, and I press 4 huge, cloves. If you do more, it's okay. I press it into salad. Now, there's a difference. If I went and ate a raw clove of garlic, my mouth would be burning, and I'd be like, hot. Oh, this is horrible. Yeah. My breath would smell more like garlic. There's something about when you crush it that really mellows it a little bit.
Okay.
And I put that in my salad. Now I'm going to tell you.
So you put the solid parts into, or are you just like juicing the garlic? What is it like at the end of pressing it?
When you do the garlic press, little pieces come out of it.
Okay. So I've never used one.
Oh, that's like one of my favorite things. You have to get a garlic press.
Okay.
You can crush it in your foods. If you're making dressings and marinades or whatever, you can put it in there. But put it in the garlic press. Everyone needs to go out right now and get a garlic press because you can crush a lot of garlic. So I make my own tahini, or if you're going to do like a yogurt sauce. Yeah. So if you want to put some yogurt with some garlic in there and lemon juice, it makes a great dip. I mean, it's easy and it's healthy.
Do you have to peel the garlic before you put it in the press?
In the garlic press, you just put the cloves with the skin on it. And then when you want me to go get the garlic press, I'll show it to you.
All right. Yeah. Let's see it. It's not too far, right?
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, I want to see your garlic press. I've seen them in the store and thought, maybe I should have one of these, but I didn't know how to use it or what I would do with it. So, all right. Yep. There it is.
Garlic press. Here's my garlic.
Yeah. Oh, I love this. Like a demonstration of the garlic press. This is great.
So here, I get the paper and everything.
All right.
I just put it in there. You close it. Now, I'm not going to squeeze it because I don't have a thing. But you just squeeze it, and it comes out the little holes there.
Okay. So it kind of grates it.
Yeah, it's amazing. So whenever I make anything, I do this. Now, let me tell you a little bit about garlic. It has, and even onions. There's a component that makes it healthy called quercetin.
Okay.
Or not quercetin, allicin. Allicin.
Okay.
And the allicin, it's so funny, I always talk about this, and my husband says, that's our daughter-in-law's name.
Oh, okay. Why are we talking about allicin all of a sudden? Yeah.
Yeah, it's called allicin. And what it does is it activates, once you, like if you cut your onions or you squeeze your garlic, let it set 10 minutes or so, and then it'll really activate it even more.
Huh. All right.
So like if you chop onions and you're going to put them on something, let them kind of set for a few minutes and then go ahead. And what I do is I squeeze my garlic cloves, my 4 cloves, or sometimes I'll do 6 or 8, it depends, and I put them in my salad. Okay. I make homemade salad dressing, because here's another one. We're kind of going off topic, but you want to talk about your health and making yourself healthier. A lot of people are eating salads because they think they're healthy. Unfortunately, the worst thing that they're doing is they're using store-bought salad dressing that are sitting on the counter using rancid oils. They go bad. Most of them are using soybean oils, which are generally genetically modified. They're loaded. It's just not a good thing. Right. So easy to make salad dressings, and it's so cheap. Like I have a quart jar, and all you do is I do 2 parts olive oil to 1 part apple cider vinegar to 1 part of honey, raw honey, or maple syrup. That is your salad dressing. I shake it.
That sounds delicious.
and that's it. And everyone's like, you have the best salads, and it's because of my salad dressing.
Yeah.
And it's easy to do, and it's cheap and very, very, very inexpensive to do, because you can have lots of salad dressing. Because I see those little bottles, and I would go through one of those because we eat a lot of salads here, and I use it. And, you know, you're looking at a good salad dressing if you get it in the refrigerated section. And a lot of times they put additives in there and fillers, and they're just terrible for your health. So that's another one. We'll add another little piece to our pie. Try to make your own salad dressing, because it's very, very, very easy. You can do ranch dressing, just anything.
And we're coming up on springtime where you could maybe plant your own early lettuce. You know, you can start with even growing your own lettuce. Even in the house, you can grow lettuce. So
you in a big pot, you can grow easy right now because the sun is starting to come. Because I know I have a fig tree in here and it's shooting out the roof right now. Nice. It's coming back. How does it know it's spring? Because it's in the house. Yeah. But growing lettuce is so simple. Any of your greens, and I would highly recommend starting to grow herbs. If you're not growing herbs, herbs are very medicinally and nutritionally very dense. So you're going to get a lot of health benefits from herbs. So in pots, I would just be growing lots of herbs. You can put them on your counter because they're going to be very helpful. Especially one of my favorites is cilantro. Cilantro is one of the best heavy metal detoxifiers in the body. And we have a lot of heavy metals that we're breathing from the air, getting from your furniture, in your car, everywhere. And even our foods. Right. So by eating cilantro, if you can do cilantro every day. So if you're going to the grocery store, they have cilantro. Try to have a nice handful of cilantro. I put it in my salads. Put extra in your tacos if you're having your tacos, and try to get cilantro. I
love cilantro in my tuna fish. It's good.
Yeah,
in fish.
Great.
Yeah.
Emily's going to put extra cilantro in her tuna fish now.
Right? Now I am. Yeah.
Good for you. Yeah, and then parsley. I mean, parsley. Like I've had parsley grow. It gets 0 degrees here all winter here. I have little cold frames around, but parsley grows. It likes cold weather, and it's lasted all through winter here. And parsley grows pretty good. Yeah. So I would be on the herbs, because let's say you're having a salad. People only maybe put a little herbs on their fish or on their chicken or something. I use a big, huge handful of a mixture of herbs, and I put them in my salad. So oregano, there's another antibacterial, antifungal, and viral. Right. Oregano, you can use all these fresh herbs to use in your foods, because that's going to help your suit of armor. That's going to protect you from and helping your immune system too. So just by adding these powerful foods into what you're eating makes a huge difference. So if you're going to have a salad, maybe in a sandwich, maybe you don't want the herbs in your salad, you can put a big handful of herbs on your sandwich. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm just a big advocate of herbs, because they're very helpful for your body because of vitamins, and they're going to also help you with your immune system. And
especially when you have the fresh, that you've just been growing in your kitchen maybe, or wherever you're growing them, having that fresh, nothing beats, the closer you can get to being alive, I think is better. It's going to be okay if you have them dried. There's a reason why we dry herbs and keep them and use them again. But if you have them fresh, nothing beats that.
Well, let's talk about that too. So it's starting to get warmer most places. Yeah. So a lot of farmers markets and places like that are going to be around. So when you look at where food travels, it travels like an average of 1,500 miles to get to you. So it's going to lose a lot of nutritional value from it. Yeah. So as the warmer weather is going, and then if you have access and you can start growing some of these things, that's going to be the best. The closer home you are to your food, the better. Yeah. But let's say you have farmers markets around you. A lot of these places have them on Saturdays, Thursdays, Wednesdays, whatever. Try to start supporting your local farmers, because you're going to get the most nutrient dense food from your farmers, because it's closer to home, and you're not going to lose a lot of the nutrition from it.
Absolutely.
So that would be another one. Try to eat as close to home as you can.
Yeah. So,
great. And buy organic if you can too. Go to the grocery store. Yeah.
Yeah. But you just, like with all this, you do your best, so there's best and better, and, maybe there's something that you definitely wouldn't want to have, but you just do your best in every situation. And that's all we can,
of course,
all we can do.
There's grocery stores there. You have grocery stores everywhere. So you can go there. And like I say, do the pots, or if you go to farmers markets, I would be doing that.
Yeah, and coming up soon, in the next couple of months, the community supported agriculture, the CSAs, will start having food available. If you haven't looked at that before, this is a great year to be looking at that. I'll be in my third year belonging to a CSA where I get bountiful food every week, fresh vegetables and fruit, and just amazing food every week that I end up giving it to my neighbors because it's so much that we can't possibly eat it all. But it's wonderful, fresh food.
And the thing with the CSAs that's good is you get what's in season. So a lot of people don't necessarily eat in season. So it's really important to eat what's in season. You don't want to eat the same thing all the time.
Right.
Having a good varied diet, that's very helpful because a lot of people will just eat the same thing every single day. And that's another one. We'll add another piece to our pie. Try not to eat the same exact thing every day because your body needs a variety of vitamins and minerals to help it thrive. So if you are one of those people, you want to change it up a little bit, making sure, and here's another thing that I like to talk about. Try to eat and look at what you're eating for your meals. Try to eat a live food with every meal that you eat. Don't eat like fully cooked food that a lot of the nutrition has been taken away from it every single meal. So you could possibly, let's say you're having a salad or something. Or maybe I do a lot of fermenting here. We talk about sauerkraut. The big thing now, a lot of people are drinking kombucha.
Right.
So there's kombucha, that's considered a live food. Yogurt's considered a live food. Kefir's considered a live food. Things like that if you could add to your plate. Or sprouts. And here's something else for a lot of people. If you don't even have the space for a pot or anything, in a little jar, a glass jar, you could sprout. You can grow sprouts. And they're very, very inexpensive to grow, and they just take a few days to grow, and they're going to be very nutritionally dense.
Yeah.
So like a sprout.
And they're fun. It's kind of fun to grow them because you're getting, you have something that you've done and then you can eat it. It's fun to, I haven't done that in a long time. It's fun to sprout though. Yeah. They have kits too that you can get if you're, the sprouting kits with the special lids on the jars, so you can try that out as well.
If you even have the kids that are home from school, it's a great thing for them to do, kind of like a science experiment.
Yeah.
And the nutritional value of the sprout is anywhere from 10 to 100 times more nutritionally dense than the actual food. So like if you sprouted broccoli sprouts, they have a lot. They have, oops, there's my puppy, sorry. Yeah, they're just very, very, very nutritionally dense. So when they're the babies, you're going to get more nutrition out of them than if it's like a full broccoli or a full cauliflower or a full radish.
Right, because it's got all that potential in the beginning until then it disperses as it grows. But everything is right in there in the start of it, in the sprout. Yeah.
So then there's sprouting you can do. And if anyone wants to, I know a lot of people are ordering online. There's a company called sproutpeople.com. Rareseeds.com does a lot. You can get seeds a lot of these different places if you want to order them online. So and then you can start sprouting, and then that way you'll have access. Because I always say, like, people are like, what happens if you can't grow anything and get fresh vegetables? I would sprout. So sprouting is very easy. And then other people might even look into microgreens. You just get a little tray, and then put a dirt in it. You can even do it on a paper towel and put some seeds, and then it'll grow. People do like wheatgrass that way, and you can do that. So there's little ways around it. If there's a way that possibly you can't get fresh vegetables that you would want to do.
Nice. Now, so I feel like we didn't finish the garlic thing, though. What else do we need to know about garlic? Because we came all around to which is great because we got a lot of good stuff there. But what else do we need to know about garlic? You mentioned maybe you mentioned that it's more nutritious when it's fresh. So when it's raw. But some people are not getting, even with a press, they may not want to do that. They're going to want to bake it. Is there a good way to roast it? I mean, I have one of those garlic roasters you put in the oven, but is there like a certain temperature that's better to do that at? What is the general thing for roasting garlic that's the best way to do it?
Let's start talking about roasting, and then I'll go ahead and talk about what you can do to make it like little elixirs and things like that. You can use it for.
Yeah.
So besides eating it raw, because there's a lot of people that may not want it raw, you can go ahead and you can cook it. So there's a few ways around it. I make really good mashed potatoes, a garlic mashed potatoes. It's easy where you can roast it. And I just basically put it in aluminum foil. And the trick to doing the garlic, and a lot of people don't do this, is you want to gently on the very top cut it so that you can see the ends of the bulbs a little bit. Then place it in the aluminum foil. Put a little bit of oil, if you would do a little olive oil or butter or ghee or something. Put it in the oven at 350 or so, and then you can take them out, and then you just squeeze them, and they pop out. They're really easy.
Can you say again? The audio went out a little bit, I think, when you said the temperature to put it at. What would you roast it at?
Temperature, I do about 350. You can do about 350.
All right.
Then when you're done, you can just pop it right out. And then it just pops out, and I use it in, if you put them in sandwiches or if you put it in your mashed potatoes or whatever. So it's not really
delicious.
So you can roast it and do it like that. And of course, in your cooking, people use it in their spaghetti sauces, and they use it in their different, things. You can cook it however. But the one thing that I really use the garlic for is I ferment it, which is what's going to happen when you ferment it. It's just going to kind of give it that like little extra punch, and it will last. It's like long-term storage. It'll last, 6 months, almost. It could last a year down in my root cellar.
Yeah.
And it's basically like having canned food. So in order to ferment something, I'm going to use a brine solution. So I peel all my cloves, and then I'm going to put them in a jar. So let's say I had a little pint-sized jar, and I put my garlic in there. And basically, for a pint of my garlic cloves, I would put 4 teaspoons of an unrefined salt in the water. So I make the brine first. So I do 4 teaspoons of an unrefined salt.
Yeah.
And my favorite salt to use is Redmond salt. So some of you guys that don't know, if regular like Morton salt or iodized salt like that, it has been bleached, and it also, they put anti-caking agents in it. Yeah. And it's not a real salt. Right. So it's going to wreak more havoc on your body. It causes you to swell up. You know how people are like, I can't eat salt because it makes you swell up. Yeah. Because your body's like, I don't know what this is, and then it keeps wanting more. So when you get a real salt, a lot of people know the pink Himalayan sea salt. There's Celtic salt, and that's from France. But the real salt I like because it's much more local. It's in Utah. It's right here in the United States. Yeah. And it has all the trace minerals that you need. Your body knows what it's getting when you get it. I don't get puffy or swelly, and the body is getting the things that it needs from the salt. So I like to use real salt, or
it's called you're saying real salt? Is that what you're saying?
REAL.
Real salt. Okay. Yeah.
So real salt, and the company that has it is Redmond. REDMOND. Redmond.
Oh, Redmond. Okay. All right. Now, see, I heard you saying Wegman because that's a grocery store chain that's around here. I heard you say Wegmans, but you said Redmond. Okay. Redmond. Thank you.
Redmond salt. So yeah, Redmond is good. And you use 4 teaspoons of salt. You dissolve it into your brine and then pour it over your garlic. Okay. And then you're going to put, if people aren't familiar with fermenting, you'll just go ahead and you can put your lid on top of it. Kind of keep it very loose. Yeah. Because what you're going to need to do is every day, because it could explode.
You're going to do what every day?
You need to burp it. So you're holding on to the jar, and then I would put like a plate underneath it, and you're going to just gently turn it, and you'll hear the air go.
Okay. And you just do that once a day?
Yeah, you'll be fine just doing it once a day and just watching it. Don't put the lid on really tight and just let it sit there. And it'll sit there. You can let it go for, a week or so. Yeah. But you're going to be burping it. They also have fermenting lids where you don't need to worry about burping it.
Okay.
But if you don't, want to purchase a lid, you can do it yourself, but you have to be mindful of burping it every day. Otherwise, you don't want it to explode.
Yeah, we don't want any exploding garlic. Yeah. That wouldn't be good.
Yeah. So, and what's going to happen is you're going to get the good probiotics from it fermenting, and then it'll be helpful for your immune system and help your digestive tract. And your garlic is still in its raw form. But when you do this, it's also going to make it more mild to the taste. So you could just eat one and it's
Oh, your sound just went out again for a second. Sorry, Stacy. Your sound went out for a second there. You were saying something about it was good. It was mild on the stomach, and it was, yep.
So on the garlic, when you ferment it, it'll taste much more mild compared to a raw garlic clove if you wanted to eat it. So probably chew one of those and tolerate it much better once it's been fermented.
Great.
So by fermenting, and you can ferment anything, any kind of vegetable can get fermented. And it tastes good. And everyone knows about sauerkraut. You can do with cabbage. You can use beets. I mean, you can ferment a lot of different things by putting a brine and just letting it set, for a week or so. Yeah. And it's great. And it's very good for your health. And there you go. You have a probiotic that people are paying so much money to buy at the store when you can make it at home with things that you have around that you can get at the grocery store or you can grow yourself. So and fermenting is very, very simple. So the 4 teaspoons of salt in your brine, pour it over, and then you want to make sure you have at least 1.5 inches space at the top because it will start to bubble and you don't want it to ooze out. So don't let it go all the way to the top. Make sure you have like 1.5 inches space before the actual garlic.
Yeah.
Yep, so that you can ferment it. A lot of people, another way you could even do is you could get some apple cider vinegar. Mm-hmm. You could put some apple cider vinegar with some raw honey. Okay. Mix it all up there with some garlic and just let it set. And just let it set for a few weeks. Yeah. And
then just take like a teaspoon of that a day, or what do you do with that?
Well, you could use the garlic. You could use the garlic and chop it up. Yeah. Use on your salad dressing. You could even do that too. But I'm going to give you a couple ways. I'm going to give you one probably that most people would enjoy more where you're going to cook it.
Okay.
So all you're going to need is, here's a good, so get your pens and papers out. So you're just basically going to need 8 cloves of garlic and you want to peel them. Yeah. And then you're going to need a couple cups of water. And make sure you're not using chlorinated tap water. You're going to use like distilled water or spring water or purified water. Then you're going to also need a cup of raw honey. Now, honey is another one that is antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal too. Honey has been around for thousands of years. It's just wonderful what it can do. And honey is loaded. It has all your amino acids. It has all your B vitamins. It has, it's sort of like the alphabet. It has A, B, C, D, E, and K. It has, all your vitamins, and it's just loaded in like over 5,000 enzymes. I mean, it's just like wonderful for your body. Yeah. So by adding the honey, we're going to add honey to it. And then even for people that are having coughs, if you just do a little apple cider vinegar and some raw honey, apple cider vinegar and raw honey, you just take a spoonful of that. That's one of the best things to coat your throat. It is, it's just amazing what it can do. Yeah. There's your cough syrup. Forget the NyQuil, forget all that junk and stuff like that. Right. You can do raw apple cider vinegar, and make sure you're doing raw apple cider vinegar because when you buy anything, you want to make sure it's in its rawest form. So you want it to be cloudy with the mother in it. So that means it's live food. Don't get the apple cider vinegar that doesn't say raw. Just make sure it says raw. So you do the raw apple cider vinegar and the honey, there's your cough syrup. Now, going back to the other thing you're going to be making. So you'll need the 2 cups of water, and then you're going to need your cup of apple cider vinegar and a cup of honey and your 8 cloves of garlic.
And 8 cloves of garlic, yep.
So what you can do if you have a food processor or whatever, I would chop the garlic up really fine. Or if you have your little garlic press, that's all you need to do. Just crush those all up. And that would probably be the easiest because it doesn't make much mess. So I would just crush up the cloves of garlic. And then you're going to heat that up in a pan on your stove. So you put the water and the garlic and the honey and the apple cider vinegar in the pan. Now, that is just a basic recipe. If you want to add more to it, you can. Some people like to add cayenne pepper. Because cayenne pepper is just amazing what it can do. It's good for your immune system. It'll help with a sore throat. My little cure for sore throat, we live around the Amish, and so I told them about the cayenne pepper thing and the sore throat, and people are like, oh my gosh, that was just wonderful. All you need to do is get some salt, get some unrefined salt in a cup of warm water, and then put like 1/8 of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper in it, stir it up, put it in your throat, gargle it, and that'll help with a sore throat too. Yeah, yeah. That's really going to spit it out, and then you'll still have some of the remains of the cayenne left in there. So you can also add the cayenne pepper into your little mixture that you're going to be doing. Yeah. So you're going to go ahead and kind of heat that up. You put it on and just let it heat up a little bit, and then you can just let it go on low heat for about an hour.
Okay.
And then when it's done, you can strain it out. Oh, I'm sorry. We have to take you know what? Cut that all out, Emily. The whole recipe, because you don't want to put the honey in. Honey, you're going to do that at the end. I don't want to heat the honey.
That's okay. We'll just tell them. I think they can handle it. So you're not going to put the honey until the end because you want the raw honey without it.
Yes.
I was going to ask that question. So
I don't know what I'm thinking. So I'm talking about too many things.
That's okay. So the honey you're saving to stir in at the end, I would guess, right? Because
so you're going to do
it cools.
You're going to do the garlic. You're going to do the apple cider vinegar. You're going to cook that down.
Yeah.
And then for about an hour or so, and then when it's done, strain it out and then put your honey in it.
Right. And the reason for that is because the honey is raw and you lose some properties when you heat it. So some of the medicinal properties. So you want to add that in, like let the mixture cool that you've just heated, and then you add the honey in. So it's not cooking in a sense. So it stays raw and you get all the full benefit of the honey and the benefit of everything else that's being added to it.
Yeah, you don't want it to go above 95 degrees or so.
Okay.
That'll start killing all the properties. So a lot of people, the most grocery store honey, it's going to probably be pasteurized. A lot of times they, just when they heat it, because they can pour it quicker.
Yeah.
So you don't want it to get heated, and generally just try to find a local farmer around. And a lot of the grocery stores in the produce aisle will carry a lot of the raw
It's gotten
honey.
much easier to find raw local honey for sure.
And the other benefits of it is because it's going to have the propolis and the pollen from the bees. So that's going to help with your respiratory system, with your immune system, and also with your allergies and things like that. Mm-hmm. So raw honey is where it's at. That's what you want to use for anything. And then also it's good for wounds. It's something that could be in your medicine chest at home that you can use.
You should always have honey on hand for sure.
Right. And then here, let me talk a little bit about Manuka honey. Manuka honey, another kind of honey. It's from New Zealand, and it's from a plant. It's similar to the melaleuca or the tea tree.
Right.
And what happens is the bees there, they produce this honey, and it's very medicinal, much more than other honey.
Yeah.
And I was reading, it was very interesting that when they harvest this honey, it has to sit in the warehouse for 2 years so that the medicinal properties get, better and better. They have something that's called the UMF, the unique Manuka factor. And when you're buying honey, and a lot of the stores will have it, Costco has it, and the grocery store have it. You want a Manuka factor to be higher than 10. Let's say 10 plus. You don't want it below, because
it'll say what it is right on the jar. It'll tell you the Manuka factor.
And if you get above 15, you're going to get something that's really, really strong. Like I have cured, like my dog just got spayed, and so she had the scar. So I immediately put the Manuka honey on it because it heals it. We have a lot of farm animals here, and so I do a lot of holistic healthcare here with our animals too.
Yeah. So
horses that get big gashes on their legs. I had a cat that came that, I don't know, an animal got it and his whole neck was open and it was just terrible. And I thought, he's going to die. So I used some of my remedies. I cleaned it out with some calendula tea and some yarrow, that we had growing. I just washed it out. And then I put the Manuka honey on it, and it totally healed
amazing.
It.
Yeah.
Amazing. Like a miracle.
Right.
And the cat survived and everything was great. So,
but if you don't have Manuka honey, you could still use honey for some of these situations. You use, again, like the best that you have. So raw local honey is all you can get. You can't get the Manuka, which is also very, very expensive. It's very, very expensive. You don't need to use a lot. So that's what I'm saying. For a lot of people, if they need, right now, they want to have like a little medicine chest that they have in their home. If they're not able to get other things, a jar of Manuka honey might be double the price. Yeah. But you only need a little bit of it, and it will go a long way. Oh, that's good to know.
I know a lot of people that have, I've heard a lot of people talk about, with bronchitis, that you can't get rid of bronchitis just by, taking a few, teaspoons of this a day. That it could possibly help with that too, because you're going to get a little bit more of a kick. So if you're out and about and you do see it, look how much people pay for antibiotics and how much people pay. So you have these things, and maybe you have an ulceration that you can't get rid of, possibly, and tried every cream and everything else. Sometimes some of these natural remedies, if you try them, they might work. So that's why I keep a lot of this stuff. And when I think about it, I have it, and I have it at home just in case I might need it.
Yeah.
So, having your honey on hand, because honey will never go bad.
Right.
And if it does crystallize, people think they have to throw it away. All you have to do is put it in some warm water, put the bottle in warm water, and it will be,
just warm it up a little. Right.
So honey is great. So anything you can get, raw honey, Manuka honey, all those would be wonderful. And it does have, Manuka honey has a different taste too than regular honey that we're used to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's honey. So then I'll go back to our little concoction. So we have the 2 cups of water, your 1 cup of apple cider vinegar, and then your garlic. And if you want to put a little cayenne pepper in there, you can. If you want to go ahead and put a ginger nub. So here's another one you can add, because all these things are going to be very helpful for your immune system. Get a ginger nub, peel it, and chop that up too, and put it in there. Let it cook down really good. Yeah. And then after an hour or so, you would strain it out. And then once you strain it out, let it cool, and then add your cup of honey to it. And then that way you can leave it on the counter, take a spoonful if you just want to do it once a day just to help your immune system.
Yeah.
Or if you get sick, and I would do it 3 or 4 times a day.
Right.
And have like a teaspoon or so. And that way, there you go. You have like a little thing to help with your immune system. I know we live around the Amish a lot, and the Amish will just do onions and honey. I remember years ago I was over there, and they have little kids. And then there's like 2 and 3-year-olds, and their noses running, and the mama would just have them come over. And then this is the first time I had seen this one recipe, but she had just heated up some onions on the stove.
Yeah.
Because you did the onions, and then she went ahead and put it in the honey. And then you just let it set there. And then she would just give the little boy the honey, and then they would just eat it. And they would eat she kept the onions in it. If you don't want the onions in it, you can take it out. And then that way, you'll just have like a little concoction like that too. And that's something that you can do quickly.
Yeah, there's like the medicinal, what is the term for that? Oxymel, is that what they're called? Am I saying? Yes. Okay. When you're making, so when you're creating something with honey, a concoction with honey, it's called an oxymel. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's one with the 2 cups of the water and the apple cider vinegar and honey. So, and then that one, you can do it with honey. And the thing that's good about this stuff, you don't have to be like so perfect, because about measuring. So let's say you don't have onions or you don't have garlic, maybe you can do it with ginger, and then you can do it with cayenne pepper. Or maybe you have herbs.
That's what you've got, right? Yeah. So the one thing, I interviewed Dr. Moore for the summit. It was the first interview, and I remember him saying over and over again in class, the best medicine is the one you have on hand, right? Yeah. So if you're down to a couple of different remedies or different spices or things that you have and you're not sure what to use, you use the one that you have. So it's not always, it's not an exact science. It is and it isn't, right? So these things will help, and if you don't have it, you use the next thing that you have, and just from what you have, you can make some great things. Yeah.
Any herb that you can find, they're all wonderful. I mean, they all have wonderful healing properties. So I would, if you had your sage around, if you had your oregano around, whatever you got around, you can use any of it. Exactly. Rosemary and any of that kind of stuff you could use. And even if you have dried stuff at home, or, you have the dried herbs, you can use some of those. Yeah. I mean, I would just use whatever you have, because you have your things that you cook with. So those would be fine too if you don't have anything else. So, and then just by adding, you can do the cayenne pepper, like I say, or adding a ginger nub, turmeric. I mean, you could add, a lot of different things and go crazy with it. But whatever you have at hand is what I would definitely be using.
Yeah.
And then here's another one you can do I love onions. Onions are wonderful. You can do a poultice. So let's say you have a lot of congestion in your chest. Possibly, maybe, you have a pneumonia, and then the doctor's giving you some medicine and you just can't kick it, something's going on. And this has been going on, the grandmas, great grandmas, thousands of years ago. I mean, everyone has been doing this forever. Mm-hmm. And you can make a poultice. So basically, you're going to get like in a glass jar, you're going to chop up some onions and just stick them in the oven for 20 minutes or so till they get nice and gooey. Yeah. And then on your chest, I would put a little olive oil on the chest. And you can do this for children, or you can even do it for, of course, with adults. Yeah. And then you want to keep that heat in there. So you put the olive oil and you put the onions on there, and then you wrap yourself with saran wrap or, plastic wrap, and then put on a tight t-shirt on, and then go to sleep. And in the morning, generally you'll feel pretty good. So if there's something in your chest that you can't kick, bronchitis or something, maybe try that and see, how it goes. You may
Wow,
smell
yeah, I've
pretty
never
good.
heard of that with saran wrap. I thought I thought you were gonna say use a hot towel and keep it there and keep
If you want to
warming the
keep
towel.
that heat,
Yeah,
heat
yeah,
in there, and then close on over that, and then sleep that way with it, and then
yeah.
that way, it could help break up that stuff that's going on in your lungs.
I don't know, I've heard of people putting onions in their socks. Have you ever heard that?
Yeah, it says it pulls the toxins out.
Yeah, yeah. So that you can, you do that overnight and then you feel better in the morning. I don't know.
There's so many things
So
that,
many things you can do.
so many things you can do because onions and garlic are very, very powerful. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's just amazing that, you can do so much with them. And then just eating them.
Yeah.
So I talk about eating as many live foods as you can. So if you're like, for me, I won't just put a couple pieces of onion, I'll put a lot of onion in my salad, or I'll make sure I have onion, on a sandwich, or I'll put onion, I'll eat as many of these really medicinal things, like
Right.
my garlic, my onions have the allicin, which is the health component of it. So I try to use as much as I can in what I'm eating throughout the day.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to think. Let me think of another one. What else would we do with onion? Yeah, onions, you can also, my other favorite way of eating onions is fermenting them. So
Yeah.
garlic and onions are amazing. Actually, if you like, basically it's going to pickle it. So it'll have a sour taste. So
Can you do that together can you do garlic and onion in one thing, or would you recommend doing them separately? Yeah.
You can mix them up. So if you want to do both, but onions are easy because peeling garlics take forever. But with onions, you can cut up an onion, stick it in a big jar, and all you do is make it into a brine. So if you have a bigger jar, just remember a pint is 4 teaspoons of salt in the brine, and a quart would be 8 teaspoons of unrefined salts to make the brine. And then you just pour it over, and then make sure you have an 1.5 inch head space on top, and you got to burp it every day. And you can let your onions sit there a week or two, and then you'll have fermented onions. And they're really good on sandwiches, and you're getting your probiotic benefits of it.
Yeah.
And it's just, they taste really good. A lot of times what I'll do in our garden, I'll even put the herbs in with it. So if I put basil in there, like basil and
Oh yeah.
or or whatever, and you can really do a lot of different things that way. So that way I'm not only eating it live and raw, I'm getting it in a fermented form, which is going to add more nutrient denseness to it and make it more helpful for me.
I've got to give you my garlic peeling trick, and you may know this already. Yeah, you shake it in a jar. Yeah, it really works. I saw a video of that once, and I thought that can't, but it really does work. You just get a jar with the lid, tighten the lid, and put the, after
it does. I know.
Tighten the lid till you put the garlic in, and then you shake it, and the whole thing just peels itself. And every now and then, I'll take all the paper, the outside of it out of there, and then I'll shake it again. But eventually, everything just
comes off.
Yeah. Amazing.
Oh no, I know. I learned.
Okay, good. Because I was thinking, is she really just sitting there and peeling each one? No, because it's too much.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah.
I put that I'm writing a cookbook now, and that's in my cookbook.
Awesome.
No idea.
Yeah.
Because it does work. I was like, oh my gosh, you do it and it really does work.
It really does work. Yeah.
It does. And then they used to use, believe it or not, in old books and things like that, they use the garlic juice for glue. Did you know that?
No, it would make sense because it's very sticky. Your hands are very sticky afterward.
Yeah, all the ancient books, from thousands of years ago that they have. I mean, all the things to glue things together, that's what they use, was the garlic juice. Yeah.
Wow.
What you're learning today? Oh my gosh.
I know. I love everything that we've been learning today. This is some great information. So we've talked about moving, we've talked about eating, sleeping. I think we've talked about even more than that. I can't remember the fourth one. But what else can we say? We've covered a lot. And is there any final thing that you would say at this time of what people can do right now to take control of their health? The whole point of this summit is to empower people so that they feel like, I didn't know I could do that, but I can do that. And then feel like they have more control over the events that are happening right now. And not just for right now, but for always. Because we're learning lessons right now, all of us, that are going to carry through hopefully into every day from this point forward. So we're better prepared for just everyday life and just being happier and healthier in general, getting better sleep, getting into a better sleep pattern, eating a little bit more healthfully to ward off any sort of infection or virus. So these things are going to be to benefit of all of us in the long run. So I'm really trying to look, and I think we're, all of us should be looking at the good things that are coming out of this, the lessons we're learning. And I'm so grateful to people like you and Doug that have already been there, and you're doing this and you're shining that light for us. So is there anything else that you can say as like a final thought here of what we could be doing today?
Well, the big thing is, and I say that I'm my home health care provider.
Yeah.
So you are number one. You need to take care of yourself first, because you can't count on somebody to take care of you. So you need to take charge and learn some of these tools that will help you to make your immune system, because you're watching all this media stuff on television, on the internet, and everything, and no one is really saying what to do, to eat real food and get your sleep and take care of your immune system, because that is the number one thing. Using hand sanitizer and toilet paper is not going to make you healthy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just crazy. And so I just think, knowledge is power. Getting books or finding Kindle books on, herbal remedies possibly that you can read up on. Make sure, like we were talking earlier, getting your sleep, being consistent with it, taking time out to breathe, to work your lungs, doing some lymphatic work, by dry skin brushing or going for a walk, getting out in nature. It's so, so important. I really, truly believe that nature, if you're out in nature, that is health, because just being out, listening to the sounds, it's very soothing. Just being out and just absorbing all the energy from the earth. This is one thing I'm going to add, one more thing that we didn't talk about. Yeah. I'm a big advocate of like barefoot or grounding, they call it now.
Earthing, I've heard. Earthing, yeah.
So it has a lot of different names. And that's another thing that has totally healed me, I know, in a lot of problems that I was having. I took a lot of workshops on that and learned a lot. And basically your body emits and has a lot of EMFs. You have a lot of static electricity. Yeah. You have a lot of this in your body. And if you're wearing rubber-soled shoes, it doesn't have any way of it getting out of you. Oh. So you might have brain fog, or there was a lot of studies done showing about aches and pains in people and having a lot of joint problems and pain. That people who would be barefoot and be connected with the earth, at least like 20 minutes a day, that these pains and things, a lot of them were alleviated. Wow. So you want to let that static electricity out. You want that energy, because if you look at walking barefoot on the beach, when you add it like a conductor, like the water to a natural element, it could be the dew on the grass, it could be the sand in the ocean. It's just so powerful for healing. So when you're out there, so if you live somewhere where there's a beach, I would be walking barefoot on the beach every single day.
That's my favorite thing to do.
Here, oh, it's just amazing. Even concrete, something that's kind of a natural thing.
Or out in the woods, go out into the woods and take your shoes off for a bit.
Yeah, just to sit out there. Or even if you're sitting and reading a book and you're sitting outside or just sitting in the sun, take your shoes off and put them in the grass or put them in the dirt if the dirt is a little wet. Those things are very powerful. So just think you're getting all that healing benefit coming inside of you and making you stronger and healthier. So that was another one, being out in the sunlight. And then also trying to eat as many live foods as you can, getting the and then trying to get some of these herbal remedies. If you're going to get some onions and some garlic, because if you go buy a bunch of onions, or you grow onions, you can store them in a cool place and they'll last a while. Just keep them. Then use them. If you need to make a little elixir with the honey, you can go ahead and heat up just the onions by themselves and put them in the garlic. With it, and then do it like that. If you want to add all those other things we're talking about, it can be garlic, you can do cayenne pepper, you can do rosemary, you can do basil, you can do, oregano, any of those things, because really there's nothing right or wrong. I mean, all these things are going to be very helpful for you. If you want to ferment them, you can ferment them by, making the same, brine solution, 4 teaspoons to a pint of water, and you get an 1.5 inch headspace or so it doesn't blow up, and then you got to burp it every day, put a jar.
Good reminder. We don't want any explosions.
No, unless you get a fermenting top, and then you don't have to worry about that.
Right. Yes.
And those things, and then you're going to get the probiotic benefit of the fermented food. Trying to eat live foods, eating salads if you can, joining a CSA or going to the farmer's market or, going to the local stores. Because even Aldi, you're going to the grocery store at Aldi. Aldi's has a lot of really wonderful organic things. And a lot
yeah, they do. Yeah.
The apple cider vinegar, making sure that it's raw. And just by even taking a thing of apple cider vinegar and some water every day will be very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
By doing that, you can put that in a little honey. Using it to take a teaspoon for a cough. You can do it like that. Just kind of using some of these simple remedies to help. The onion poultice, if you have congestion in your chest or possibly struggling with pneumonia or something in your respiratory system. And just trying some of these things that could help you in the future, and just to know for future if you do need to use it. So getting on hand, having your stash of raw honey that you can find and your raw apple cider vinegar. And some garlic and some onions, some cayenne pepper. All those things. I
love it. It's so simple and so powerful at the same time. All of these things combined.
Sure. Yeah. So we try to do as much as we can here, and then you guys can too. Whether or not, if you haven't grown anything before, you can easily go get some, good organic soil in a pot, and you can grow almost anything. On your back porch or even in your window, growing some herbs. That's a great way to start. We always say, do what you can where you are. I think it's very powerful, and just to start somewhere and just start reading up on a lot of natural remedies for things and listening to your podcast, your summit and all that, and just learning, because that's it right there. I think a lot of people are afraid. And you look way back when, how did these people get healthy from, a lot of ailments? They didn't have everything that we have now. So it's good to use both things together, and I think they work well.
Yeah.
And everyone can learn a little bit of something, just by, just educating themselves.
I think these are, another thing that, just came to mind is you were talking earlier a little bit about the, seniors being isolated right now, and they may have some knowledge that we don't have as the younger generations. Maybe getting on the phone and calling the seniors and saying, what did you do when you were in a situation like this before? And they may have some great things that they are just would be really happy to share, and just get that connection and have them remembering about some past times, and then that's going to help you. So get that knowledge while it's here from people that in your life that can share that with you, because that's still around. There's little bits of it. I've had my mom share some things recently that she'd never shared before about things that, remedies that she uses or her mom used as a kid. So have those connections back to the, to the people that are here now, and ask them. I'm sure they'll be more than happy to share all of that.
Oh, sure. I talked to my aunt's getting ready tomorrow. She's going to turn 90 years old, actually. And she is in great shape. But, she'll go and she'll tell me some of these old remedies that, my grandmother did. And I remember growing up, for me, things that she would do for me, a lot of these poultices and things. We've just lost it.
Right.
We need to keep some of these, writing a journal, and, it's just amazing when you can talk to people like that, because, when you get older, you are wiser.
Yes. Yeah.
They know a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So it is. You're so right. So right. Because I work with a lot of seniors, and, I'll talk about some of these things. They're like, oh yeah, we used to do that when I was younger, and my grandparents used to do that. So
right. And they just forget to tell us those things because it's just what they did. And so we may need to just start asking a little bit more and getting that information.
Right, for sure.
And it's all the information is there. We just have to be looking for it and trying things that we maybe didn't want to try before, didn't know that existed. So thank you for all the great information you gave us today. And I want to tell people how they can find you. I know YouTube for sure, Offgrid with Doug and Stacy, and you're on Facebook and you're on Instagram.
And Twitter too.
And Twitter. Okay. I wasn't sure about that one, but good. Twitter too. So you can find them pretty much anywhere on social media. They're off grid, but they're on grid just for you. So you can, in that way, right? So we can, thankfully, that you have that access so that we can see, have you share that information with us like you did today.
Sure.
So I'm so happy.
Yeah. And then just, like I say, just start reading, reading. And this is a good time. I was thinking, people are so busy. This is a good time, I think, for everyone just to slow down, and then they can educate themselves and just keep learning and watching, summits and, and just kind of educating themselves. And I think this you look at it as a bad situation, but in turn it could be a good situation because people can learn how to take charge of their own health and take care of themselves and learn some of these tools that can help them be a healthier person,
Absolutely. So, well,
yeah.
Great. Thank you so much. And I think pretty soon we're going to have Doug on here too. So get ready for that, right?
Hey, yeah, you can see my little dog.
Yeah. And I think Maggie, that's your dog right there, right? Was Maggie the one I was hearing today? So she'll be probably.
Yeah, Maggie. Yeah, I got Maggie and Molly. Yeah, they're sleeping
Maggie
now. They don't like the rain either. They're having a lazy day.
Yeah. Well, you guys stay warm and safe and healthy, and we're all going to do the same here. And thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks so much, Emily. It was a lot of fun.
All right. Thanks, Stacy. Bye-bye.
Bye.